Hello, so this is going to be a video, obviously a book haul if you looked at the title, but a lot of it's also just to keep me more accountable because throughout the many months that I haven't posted here, I have just racked up books and books and books. So because I'm just starting that new TBR series, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go check out the link. I don't know, just go look at my channel. There's one other video. Because of that, every time I buy new books, I'm going to force myself to talk about them in this video right here. Already, it is February 4th, and on the 2nd, I bought 2 books. So we went down to Salem and I went to Wicked Good Books. I don't usually have a lot of luck there just because I feel like the bookstore is so small that I've heard of all the books. So I decided to pick up books I didn't know anything about, and because it is Black History Month, I wanted to try to focus on Black authors or Black topics. So first one here, Octavia Butler. No surprise, I mean, very well-known author. This is Bloodchild and Other Stories, by Octavia Butler. It's funny because I picked this up and immediately one of the booksellers in the store was like, great book, amazing, and I was like, oh my god, that's great to know, and they just didn't say anything else. So it was kind of an awkward moment. Appearing in print for the first time, Amnesty is a story of a woman named Noah who works to negotiate the tense and codependent relationship between humans and a species of invaders. Also new to this collection is the Book of Martha, which asks, what would you do if God granted you the ability and responsibility to save humanity from itself? And then the other book, so only 2 books, is called 400 Souls, A Community History of African America, 1619 to 2019, edited by Ibram X. Kendi and Kaishan N. Blaine. And 400 Souls, because it is covering 400 years worth of history, says 400 Souls is a unique 1-volume community history of African Americans from 1619 to 2019. The editors have assembled 80 brilliant authors, each of whom takes on a 5-year period of that 400-year span, plus 10 original works of poetry. The writers explore their periods through a variety of techniques, historical essays, short stories, personal vignettes, and fiery polemics. While themes of resistance and struggle, of hope and reinvention course through the book, this collection of diverse pieces from 90 different minds, reflecting 90 different perspectives, fundamentally deconstructs the idea that Africans in America are a monolith. Instead, it unlocks the startling range of experiences and ideas that have always existed within the community of Blackness. And so you will have seen in the other video I posted recently that I'm trying to pick up more nonfiction, and my big gripe with nonfiction, I feel like a lot of the ones that I've read approach nonfiction and their topics in a way that they already assume that you know what they're talking about, which really sucks. I haven't read a lot of nonfiction outside of school forever, and this specific format, having everything be in these like 5-year gaps where it's like 5 pages per each iteration, is really intriguing because I feel like, not that it needs to grab my attention, but I think that it will make me pause and actually think about what was written. And so it's told in different story formats, different authors. I think there's a lot to appreciate here in and of itself, but I think that the format is really going to cater to how I'm going to process it. So I'm excited for every book I ever buy. I wouldn't have bought them otherwise, but I think that caters really well to what I was interested in. If I buy any more books for the month, they will be after this. We have another mini book haul here that I wanted to include. It is the day after Valentine's Day, but yesterday I took myself out to get some books and wanted to treat myself a little bit because Jose had to go away for Valentine's Day. He's gone for the weekend. So it was a me day. We'll go through them in just a random order. First one I got was Kaiju number 8, volume 12. I think the last one I read in this series was number 9, so I'm quite a few behind. If you're unfamiliar, Kaiju number 8 is a manga series about kaiju, and there is this main character who's not even really the main character anymore. Anyways, our main character, he finds out one day that he can transform into a kaiju, but he can like transform back and forth, so he's still very much human. But he works for this kaiju cleaning service, and then when they find out he is able to be a kaiju, he gets recruited by this kaiju defense force. And I'll be honest, the series is kind of dragging on, and I kind of just want to switch to the anime now that there is one, but Jose is still actively reading it, so I'm trying to also keep up with it. I also picked up Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Ajay Brenna. Actually, we're gonna look up the correct pronunciation of that. Chain Gang All-Stars, author name pronunciation.
Hi, I'm Nana Kwame Ajay Brenna, and I'm the author of Chain Gang.
Okay, I think I gave it a little too much enunciation. I had seen it, and I think I might actually have an audiobook from Liro FM. And I'll be honest, I never actually looked up the synopsis for it. Loretta Thurwar and Hamara Hurricane Stacker are the stars of Chain Gang All-Stars, The Corner of Cape, or criminal action penal entertainment, a highly popular, highly controversial, profit-raising program in America's increasingly dominant private prison industry. It's the return of the gladiators, and prisoners are competing for the ultimate prize, their freedom. In Cape, prisoners travel as links in chain gangs, competing in death matches for packed arenas with righteous protesters at the gates. Thurwar and Stacks, both teammates and lovers, are the fan favorite. If all goes well, Thurwar will be free in just a few weeks, a fact she's carried as heavily as her lethal hammer. As she prepares for her final match, well, I'm not going to read the rest. That's for me. If you'd like the full synopsis, it's the just basic one that's on the back of the book, but it seems very interesting. And now that I know what it's about, I'm actually very excited to read this book. Next, I picked up a book I'd never heard of before, but because I somewhat recently purchased Dracula, I was very intrigued. This is Carmilla, the dark sapphic romance that inspired Dracula. And at first I thought this was a retelling, but everywhere I look it says this book is from like the 1800s. So, ooh, also beautiful sprayed edges. That's why it's a little crunchy sounding. Predating Dracula by 26 years, Carmilla is the original vampire story steeped in sexual tension and gothic romance. In a lonely castle deep in the forest, Laura leads a solitary life with only her ailing father for company, until one moonlit night a carriage arrives bearing an unexpected guest, the beautiful Carmilla. So begins a feverish friendship between Laura and her mysterious companion, but as Carmilla becomes increasingly strange and volatile, Laura finds herself tormented by nightmares and growing weaker by the day. I picked up The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. I had read Underground Railroad previously, and I keep hearing about the show, I think, or movie. When Elwood Curtis, a black boy growing up in 1960s Tallahassee, is unfairly sentenced to a juvenile reformatory called the Nickel Academy, he finds himself trapped in a grotesque chamber of horrors. Elwood's own salvation is his friendship with fellow delinquent Turner, which deepens despite Turner's conviction that Elwood is hopelessly naive, that the world is crooked, and that the only way to survive is to scheme and avoid trouble. As life at the Academy becomes more perilous, the tension between Elwood's ideals and Turner's skepticism leads to a decision with repercussions that will echo down the decades. Based on the real story of a reform school that operated for 111 years and warped the lives of thousands of children, The Nickel Boys is a devastating, driven narrative that showcases a great American novelist writing at the height of his powers. I think that last part is what truly made me want to read it. I've been trying to dive more into nonfiction, and hearing about The Nickel Boys and the Nickel Academy, I just, aside from literally hearing about this book and hearing like vague things, I'd never heard of the Nickel Academy. So while this is fiction, I felt that it would still be very eye-opening and give me a fictional, non-fiction kind of perspective on things. And the last book I picked up, I saw this the last time I went to the store and just kept thinking about it. You Dreamed of Empires by Alvaro Enrique. And the horse is honestly what drew me in first, even though it's not really relevant. It says, one morning in 1519, Hernan Cortez, accompanied by his captains, his troops, his translators, and his prized horses, arrived at Tenochtitlan, seat of the Aztec Empire, today's Mexico City. Despite a bungled entrance, the conquistador and his entourage are invited to a ceremonial welcome meal, then ensconced in the labyrinthine palace. As they await their meeting with Montezuma, unaware that the emperor at the moment of political and spiritual crisis is riding a hallucinogenic high, they wonder, why the warm welcome? Will they really escape alive, much less vanquish the empire? And what if they don't? I don't know, it just is something that really feeds into an interest that I've had since I was a kid. And I'm very, very interested, even though I've literally never heard of this author. So unexpectedly, some historical fiction has entered the TBR. A very old classic. I think it's more of like, it's not a modern classic, but definitely Dracula has overshadowed this. And then Chain Gang All-Stars, I don't believe is very old. I feel like I've heard of this in the last few years. But again, I don't know, something about the title, I didn't seem like it was what it was going to be. And honestly, this sounds very similar to some Japanese movies that I've seen. That does it. Unfortunately, with my current TBR system, you will see me read these soon. Unfortunate only for me because I have so many books in my TBR. I hope you enjoyed this part of our book haul. I am actually about to go to the bookstore in a few hours here, so there will be another installment later today. A few hours later after the other clip. Not too many. Only 3 more. First one is The Black Fantastic, 20 Futurist Stories, edited by Andre M. Carrington, and very excited for this. I feel like Afrofuturism sci-fi is usually amazing. It's always very different than what you're just seeing in standard sci-fi, and I don't know, I always just have a really good time with them. It says, here are 20 beguiling, unsettling, and visionary stories spanning the cosmos and a dazzling array of alternate timelines. Fenderson, Jelly Clark, and Elia Dawn Johnson stare down the specters of history and their daunting fictions set speculatively on a founding father's brutal plantation and in the vampire-built internment camps of a dystopian Hawaii. Holy crap. Okay. Violet Allen's would-be superhero stories turn to searing metafiction when her main character is repeatedly shot and killed by the police. These other two, one of them, this one here, Softcore by Brittany Newell, I had never heard of before. The cover is gorgeous. I was immediately drawn in. As a young woman's search for her missing ex-boyfriend takes her into the sexual underground, Ruth is lost. She's living in a drafty Victorian with her ex-boyfriend Dino, a ketamine dealer with a lingerie habit, overdosing on television, regretting her master's degree. When she starts dancing at a strip club, she becomes Baby Blue, seductress of crypto bros, outcasts, and old lovers alike. Plunged into the swirling underworld of beautiful women, fast cash, and ungodly hours, and stranger secrets, Baby's grip on reality begins to loosen. She's sure she can handle it until one autumn morning when Dino disappears without a trace. Look at that cover. Holy crap. I can like feel it, which I think is the point. And this one I actually had seen a long time ago, and then Kayla from Books and Lala recently did a vlog, like I think it literally came out yesterday, in which this was featured. It's Blob, a love story by Maggie Sue. This one, a humorous and deeply moving debut novel in the vein of Bunny and Convenience Store Woman, a young woman who tries to shape a sentient blob into her perfect boyfriend. The daughter of a Taiwanese father and white mother, V. Lu has never quite fit into her Midwestern college town. Aimless after getting dumped by her boyfriend and dropping out of college, V works at the front desk of a hotel where she greets guests, refills cucumber samovars? That just scared the crap out of me. I ordered Domino's and it came very fast. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, refills cucumber samovars, which I need to look up, and tries to evade her bubbly blonde coworker, Rachel. Oh, that can't be right. It's an urn. Cucumber, water, samovar. Oh, okay. Just a regular samovar is an urn, but they mean like those very fancy, like water pitchers. Why is it called that? But in the alley outside the bar one night, V discovers a strange blob, a small living creature with beady black eyes. In a moment of concern and drunken desperation, she takes it home. The blob is no ordinary pet. Becoming increasingly sentient, it begins to grow, shapeshift, and obey V's commands. As the entity continues to change, V is struck with a daring idea. She'll mold the creature into her ideal partner. She feeds it a stream of sweet breakfast cereals and American pop culture, and the creature grows into a movie star, handsome white man. But when V's desire to be loved unconditionally threatens to spiral out of control, she's forced to confront her lonely childhood. Okay. And again, I like to cut off the end there because I feel like it just starts to spoil too many things. What happened? Bento, do we want to be part of the book haul? Come here. Yes, I know you want attention. Yes. So yes, those are the books I got for today. The rest of the books that I got. The goal is to read the books that I just bought and the oldest books in my TBR. Ooh. So this is definitely making it a much more daunting task. All right, there we go. Those are the next 3 books that I got this month. Ooh, the stack is piling up very quickly. It's the last day of February and somehow I managed to not buy more books. I am going to go to the bookstore tomorrow, which is March 1st. So we're going to start nice and early for next month. But that is it. I think that I bought enough books in February that are going to tide me over. You will see some of them on my March TBR if you haven't already watched that video. That's all. That's all I have to say for right now. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any books I should buy, let me know because I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep tormenting myself by filming the books as I buy them. I'm not gonna be mad about it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.